Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to Inside the Iggles Live. Thank you for joining us on this delightful September 15th, Friday, one day after your Philadelphia Eagles defeat the Minnesota Vikings 34-28 in the home opener. They are now 2-0, baby. It feels good. It was a game that was just one short year removed from the game that Jalen Hurts announced that he arrived in 2022 when the Eagles beat the Vikings 24-7, and that's what we had all kind of hoped was going to happen this game. You know, after the week one rocky offensive performance, we were really hoping that Jalen was going to take this game once again and make it his own. That is not what happened. That is not what happened. The first half was marred by turnovers on both the Eagles and the Vikings, luckily as well. We got to see the dumbest rule in professional football be enforced, which you have to love. Football is the greatest sport, specifically for that rule. We got to see that, but the Eagles, there was some shaky play calling, some shaky quarterbacking, but the Eagles did go into halftime. They went into the locker room up 13-7 with help from Jake Never Missy Elliott hitting a 61-yard bomb to send the Eagles into halftime with all of the good vibes. And we were hoping at halftime something was going to change. This Eagles offense was going to really start to click. The passing game was going to come together. That is not what happened. A new hero emerged. Hark! The emergence of DeAndre Swift. Guys, they handed the ball to DeAndre Swift, and then they did it again, and then they did it again, and then they did it again, and then they did it again. He got 28 carries for 175 yards and a touchdown. The man is here. He's the man that we wanted. We don't know why he wasn't there in week one, but he's there now. He leads the Eagles to the 34-28 victory. Guys, let's celebrate. I'm going to bring in my co-host, Jeffrey Knox. How we doing today?
What's going on, man? Good thing you caught me. I was actually about to take a bite of something when you showed up. Didn't want to show up on the screen eating. Hey, by the way, like all those hats that are behind you, have those always been there?
Yeah. I got Kelly Green. I got a Go Birds one. I got Battlehawks. I got another one that says "Make Football Violent Again." I believe that's the Sendejo hat, and I got a couple more Eagles ones.
That's what's up. I think I always keep looking at the dog, think the dog's gonna start barking or something. But yo, good stuff.
Birds.
2-0. Doesn't feel like it. Got a victory cigar, still in the plastic. You know, I keep listening to fans and I look at Facebook and things of that nature. I fell down the rabbit hole looking on YouTube and Facebook, man. And everybody has me believing this team is 0-2 or something. Like, I don't understand what's going on. Like, I guess I get it. You know, it doesn't feel like a win from time to time. And we got to evaluate what we've seen and be honest about it. Otherwise, we'd be Dallas Cowboys fans.
Right.
But, yeah. We know. Okay, the offense could be better. We understand that. I'm trying to be as positive as possible, man, but they're taking me out of my element. So I'm thinking, man, I'm just like, a lot of these younger Eagles fans, I think that might be the problem. Those of us in the 30, 40 and up club and everything, we get this. Like, we remember Randall Cunningham getting his relay shredded by Bryce Pop, and we remember the Fog Bowl. I was a kid in the barbershop with my father watching the Fog Bowl and everything. We couldn't see anything on TV and stuff. So I don't know how they would have ever made it through the Buddy Ryan era, like, 3 straight early exits in the playoffs with no wins. But when Andy Reid showed up, man, that was different. Like, that wasn't the same thing that we were used to. Like,
brought the West Coast.
Yeah. So
this game, you bring up being older. This is the old head game. That is what this game was. This is the game where the passing game just didn't work. And there's just people are like, how about you just run the damn ball? And then they
running down from the stadium, we're gonna run all the team off the field.
Oh, what a beautifully ugly performance that was.
I saw Michael Vick, I saw Kevin Hart, I saw the light show, and I'm like, you know what? Birds by 50, man. Like, this is gonna be ugly. Like, we're gonna stomp. I was like you, I started thinking about 2022's opening game and started thinking about that bomb, the Quez Watkins. I was like, it's gonna be 2022 all over again. Yep. I thought maybe we might get a little Justin Jefferson, but I was like, we're about to run these guys off the field, and nah, not at all.
That is, I mean, let's get into it. Let's we'll save the defensive talk for the second half of the show. But
Gotcha.
let's talk about the game as a whole. I guess I'm feeling the bad vibes towards this game. And I guess it kind of bleeds into week 1 too, is because the Eagles aren't winning the way that people want them to win. It's like we got to see Devontae Smith yesterday. I mean, that was beautiful. The guy is out of his freaking mind. Sign him the contract for $1 trillion now. We'll find the money. We'll crowdsource it. We'll get him the money. Sign him now. But I mean, you saw AJ Brown being mad on the sideline, and I feel like that's a little bit representative of how kind of everybody felt. Like it seemed like the established playmakers that we know that are there weren't being those playmakers. Is that how it felt to you, or what was your kind of vibe?
As far as the AJ Brown thing, man, I'm gonna take a different angle. I might get myself in trouble here because I'm gonna say what I think I saw, and this could all be totally wrong, right?
Okay.
So I remember, as painful as some of these wins are, man, like it's cool because we won. But as painful as some of these wins are, man, like I find myself drifting as it gets later into the game.
Okay.
And I feel like I need to go back and watch this again to kind of see how this ended. But I actually didn't see the AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts coach exchange until this morning. I started thinking, I was like, well, it wasn't the way it was explained to me and stuff like that. It doesn't look like Jalen and AJ are arguing. It looked like, to me, it looked like AJ is pissed off. Jalen's trying to calm him down. And I wonder if there's some talk from our guys and stuff. Not trying to cause any issues, not trying to start any rumors. I wonder if there's some talk amongst the guys in the locker room, like, yo, what is this guy calling, man? Like,
yeah. I was going to save this for later, but I'm going to do it now. We wanted to do some segments. I'm going to give you a Jake take real quick. Now, this is a half-baked Jake take. This is just a skeleton of a take. But I am going to say that this offense's lack of consistent passing production, I'm going to put it 90% on Brian Johnson and 10% on Jalen. Jalen, yeah, we know he was not playing well. We know that that interception was gnarly. The sack to take them out of field goal range, that was not good. But I'm going to put 90% of this on Brian Johnson, okay? Because what we saw in this game was that it looked like Jalen was being indecisive with his reads. We didn't see a whole lot of that last year. All right, so it looked like, especially when he's in that first half, when he's kind of rolling out to his left, and then he ends up tucking the ball on an RPO. He's being really indecisive. It didn't feel normal. But then, like you're talking about with the AJ Brown discussion, whatever you want to call it, he comes onto the field, and when he is decisive, when he knows what he's going to do with that ball, like he knows that he's about ready to force feed AJ Brown that ball. And then he throws 2 amazing throws, 2 touchdown worthy throws. That one was called back because of a
good job, Rashad Penny.
That was a weak hold. Again, Rashad, my stock is down on Rashad Penny. That was a weak hold, and then the no call on the other one, very, very dumb, inconsistent.
And that was a penalty.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100% it was.
And you got the referees like, you know what? Just bang, bang. Like, no, it wasn't. Like,
yeah. What are you talking? You can't. I'm tired of like the people in the booth. Like, well, you know, if you slow it down frame by frame, then yeah, it's gonna be. It's like you guys did that in the effing Super Bowl so that Devontae Smith didn't get a catch. Be consistent. But that's aside. That's aside from what I'm talking about. But the this being on Brian Johnson is that when Jalen knows where he's going with that ball, he is good with it. I don't know. The reason this is half-baked is because I don't know what Brian Johnson is doing. Maybe he's having Jalen make different reads. I'm not entirely sure what it is, but I am all in. I am all in on this lack of production being 90%. 90% on Brian Johnson. I'm not talking any 50-50 split between Jalen and Brian Johnson. I'm saying 90% on Brian Johnson because this is nuts.
Some Michael Nolan said, I pray and hope this is not a McNabb Owens situation. I don't think it is. Like Jalen is actually the godfather to AJ's child, I believe. They look cool to me.
Yeah.
Like the way it was explained to me, like, you know, Jalen is getting he's getting roasted by AJ on the sideline. There's a problem in paradise and so on and so forth. And I look at this and I'm like, he look cool. I'm trying to, as best I can, read lips. And I'm hearing, I got you. It's like, you know, that looked to me like, so I see Brian Johnson there, and I'm like, that looked like, yo, man, get me the ball. What's going on here? So on and so forth.
Yeah.
And then I see Jalen is like trying to calm him down. And then magically there right after that, we throw 2 straight balls and like and finally get him involved in the game. Like, I had no problem with it. I had no problem with it. Like, I don't know where this culture and this idea exists amongst people that what we're going to do is you're going to be professional athletes, alpha males all over the locker room, stars all over the locker room, Pro Bowl level talent all over the locker room. And these guys are going to be like, hey, is it okay if I say something? You know what I'm saying? Like, we're losing here. Like, the Eagles were up. Now I get that. And they were like, maybe AJ should have throttled it down a little bit because we were winning. But the game was still in doubt. Like, there were too many situations to me that looked like, yo, this could end badly.
6-point game. Yeah. I mean, that's how it ended. This was never a game that was like, all right, it's completely over. It ended on a Hail Mary. There is a very reasonable chance that last drive that Minnesota had could have ended in points. Like, yeah, this game was never in doubt. But to say it's going to be a McNabb, Terrell Owens thing, not a chance. No, these guys. And one thing that I didn't realize until maybe like 6 months after the Eagles got AJ Brown last year, like, I didn't realize how close of friends they were. Like, when AJ got his phone call that he was getting drafted by the Titans,
Jalen was there.
Jalen walks into the frame and like they dap each other up. Like, those are dudes.
I remember that shot. I didn't realize that their friendship was that strong after that. But I actually remember when that happened and stuff. I think on a recruiting trip when AJ visited Alabama, I think Jalen was the guy that kind of gave him the tour and so on and so forth. And I think they just stayed in contact after that. But AJ being away from settled on Ole Miss, obviously, and everything. Yeah, I never see McCoy they had there back at Ole Miss in them days.
I 100%. I don't think that it's a trouble in paradise. A trouble in paradise is Stephon Diggs getting in Josh Allen's face and yelling at him. That's trouble in paradise. This is not trouble in paradise. This is a guy who could potentially be a Hall of Famer, wanting the ball more. And if it's some other schlub, if it's Quez Watkins getting in bitching about not getting the ball, yeah, Quez Watkins, get out of here, you turd. If it's AJ Brown, I'm like, I get it. I see
comments, you got to run the ball more first because teams are expecting Jalen to run and quit with the wide receiver and tight end screens. I agree with that. That tight end screen that Dallas got was ugly.
Yeah.
Ugly. Did it lose like 2 yards?
I think it did. It almost looked like it was for 0, but then it was like 2nd and 12 or something like that. Now, one other thing another thought that I had as far as Brian Johnson goes. All right. I said it's 90% his fault. Things can get better, and I think they will. All right. So look back at 2021 when Shane Steichen took over play calling. I believe that was Shane Steichen's first time ever calling plays. I could be wrong, but at least with this offense, it was his first time calling plays. What did the Eagles do when Shane Steichen took over play calling? They were run dominant. And that is what stage we are at now with this Brian Johnson offense. They're going to run the ball. Like, again, it's very, very simple, very basic football strategy. Establish the run, and then these plays that Brian Johnson has that are not near as intricate, at least schematically, as Shane Steichen's, those will be able to have the success that he's wanting. I think he was kind of getting a little bit too big for his boots first. Hopefully they do that. Establish the run. Very basic. Use your elite talent on your team, on your offense. At least we'll get to that. Use the elite talent on your offense to just be talented and win games. Just use simple. Don't get in over your head, Brian Johnson, because that's what you're doing now, and it looks ugly. That's where I'm at with that.
He looks overwhelmed. And I thought I really expected more and things of that nature and stuff. I believe it will calm down. Like, I think we devalue the seriousness of replacing 2 coordinators. And then on defense, losing your starting two starting safeties, your top 2 linebackers, probably your best interior defensive lineman, a linebackers coach. I think we devalued how serious that is and things of that nature. But Brian Johnson has been around this team the entire time. He was there for Shane Steichen. He's been there since the Nick Sirianni era began.
Yeah.
So this is year 3 of those guys together. So I really expected more. The play calling is not imaginative. It's not interesting. It is not thrilling me. It does not make me want to get out of my seat and cheer. And then to your point, 2 things were going through my mind, man. I'm asking myself, Where was DeAndre Swift that first week now? Like, what were they? Now it's like more serious. Like, what the hell were they thinking? Unless, of course, they were thinking, and I can't take credit for this. I've actually seen 2 other people say this. Unless, of course, they were thinking we got 2 games in the span of 5 days. Maybe we save DeAndre Swift for the homecoming. He's a Philly guy. You know, we probably gonna overwork him then and stuff like that. But I'm not sure if I believe that, because I'm thinking a lot of this has something to do with Kenny Gainwell missing.
I mean, yeah, it probably does. I think that we're still going to see our fair share of Kenny Gainwell, but not as much as they were planning on going into week 1. I think DeAndre Swift. He has won that RB1 job. I think it's still going to be maybe not running back by committee, but I think it's going to be running back by committee adjacent. Maybe. I mean, I guess it kind of depends on if they apparently don't trust Rashad Penny. And if Boston Scott, he's got 10, 11 days to clear concussion protocol. I could see that if he doesn't clear it, I could see it just being a very heavy very heavy DeAndre Swift with Kenny G sprinkled in there come that next Monday night game. But I think DeAndre Swift has won that. Now, spin zone. I'm going to give you a spin zone here. DeAndre Swift, here's a good stat line. 175 yards in 2 games is pretty good. That's 175 in 1 game is fantastic, but that was kind of frustrating. But let's kind of get into some of this offense. What were your takeaways with how Jalen was playing?
Some of it nobody's a bigger fan of Jalen Hurts than me. And I still take credit for the fact that when everybody else was like, I don't know if this is the guy, let's go get Deshaun Watson. And everybody was like, I don't know if this is the guy, let's go get Russell Wilson. I was the only guy that was riding for it. Now, everybody takes credit for this now. I was the only guy saying Jalen Hurts is going to be fine. And the reason I trust Jalen Hurts is for all the reasons that we trust him now. And people told me that wasn't good enough. I like his maturity. He's the most laser-focused 24-year-old at the time that I think I've ever seen. I think the work ethic is going to pay out. Like, I like my quarterbacks to be grown-ups and not playing Call of Duty. No shade to you-know-who. But I want my quarterback playing Call of Duty on his iPad. And so I said all that to say I love Jalen. But the standard's been set now. The reason we have a problem with M. Night Shyamalan is because he hit us right upside the head, right out the gate with the 6th Sense.
Yep.
And when the 6th Sense came out, I was talking to a friend about this yesterday. When the 6th Sense came out, you can't give me Unbreakable, and you can't give me The Lady in the Water and Village and all this other stuff. Once he set the bar at 6th Sense, we kept looking for 6th Sense. Once Jalen sat here and came out the gate, I get it. This offense, everything came so easy, with the exception of maybe like a quarter here in the beginning of the season and some droughts in the middle of the season and like a tough day in like Indianapolis and stuff. Everything came so easy, but now they want to see it all the time. And now they don't understand that the Eagles are no longer the hunters. They're the hunted. They're coming after this. Jalen Hurts is going to get every defense's best shot now, because every defense wants to stop this guy, because now he's the standard. He's the number 3 guy on the NFL Top 100.
Yeah.
He's the guy in all these commercials and stuff. We want to pick him off. We want to stop him from being successful. And in every NFL game, in every NFL locker room, coaching is going on, and you have great talents like Jalen Hurts. The standard was set with his offense. The standard was set with Jalen Hurts. We've seen MVP level play. He can't go back. He can't go backwards now. At least in some. But the thing with Jalen too is, in every NFL locker room, coaching is going on, and Jalen had to adjust to get to where he was. And now the other side has happened. Coaches have adjusted to what they saw Jalen do well, and now Jalen has to adjust again. Can he adjust again? I think he can, but he needs some help, a la better play calling from his offensive coordinator.
Dude, he got tackled 12 times. And they weren't
sacked.
Yeah, like they weren't just not all. I mean, there was like the one on the sideline was like a forward progress thing when that fell on the Vikings got his shoulder hurt. I can't remember what his name was, but that one was a forward progress stoppage. So but he got tackled, and they weren't soft tackles, man. You got your quarterback paid. You gotta. please use him better. Please. And this goes along with that fumble from last week. It's like, how are you going to have the first opportunity for Jalen Hurts to run the ball, like a designed run like that, be something where you just run him right up the teeth where he just gets smoked? It's like, yeah, that was a bad fumble, but it was also his first time getting hit for the season, man. And then yesterday you get 12 tackles. I don't necessarily like that. That's part of that play calling thing, is what they're doing with him is very dumb. But again, I say again. So some things I saw on Twitter where people are saying that he looks like he's playing hurt. I don't
know.
I
what do you
don't
think about what Michael Nolan is saying? The next part of the game in week 3, spam AJ Brown. Like, thanks. That was a Shane Steichen method of play called, and like, try to make a point based off of what was said last week.
Right.
They denied whether or not Jalen Hurts was the MVP. Let's showcase Jalen Hurts. Let's showcase AJ Brown because he's playing his former team. Like, Devontae didn't get involved in week 1. Let's make sure we get him involved in week 2 and stuff. So,
I go in, if this game happened in week 1, I would say, yeah, they're probably gonna hammer AJ. But we also thought that they were gonna hammer Dallas Goedert yesterday, and that did not necessarily happen. I think listen, I would like it if they did that. If you throw the ball at AJ, it's gonna be good. Good things are gonna happen. I think it's a very smart idea to do that, but I don't necessarily know if. I mean, Brian Johnson's got 10 days to get his stuff together, so we'll have to see.
Fans are starting to turn
on. Moving on, let's talk. Yeah, let's talk about the pass catchers. You were saying
you saw some stuff on Twitter.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I was saying. People were blaming, not, I don't want to say outside stuff, but for lack of a better word, non-football stuff. People were saying that Jalen looked like he was playing hurt because he wasn't the quickest, but I think that's just his brain trying to react to the reads and everything like that. I don't think he's hurt. It's week 2. Did he get hurt from that hit in week 1? I don't think that's the case. But I think that might just be people reacting to not seeing the MVP caliber play that we saw last year.
I don't know what Brian Johnson is thinking. We have seen Jalen Hurts out of the game in 2021 because of that ankle.
Yep.
And then we saw him get hurt at the end of the end of 2020 with the Tampa Bay game. That was 2020, right? It was that 2021. All the stars are blurred together after a while.
Are you talking
Whenever
about
they went to the wild card game in Tampa Bay that year?
Yeah, that was.
So he's walking away in a walking boot after that.
Yep.
We saw the ankle with the Jets. We saw him miss 2 games last year, 2 games that the Eagles probably win if he's playing, and then you can rest guys later and stuff. 14 rushes, man. 12 rushes on yesterday. I know 3 of those were the sneaks and stuff, or a few of those were the sneaks, but 12 rushes plus 4 sacks, and he gets hit on all these things, man. Like, what are you thinking about?
He's paid so much to do that so early on. I don't know. Everybody said, "Oh yeah, they've known each other for a really long time." Maybe Brian Johnson has a vendetta for Jalen. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I don't know what it's doing there. They need to let Swift run before trying to run it with Hurts. I don't hate that plan I'm
scared about the Swift thing. Swift's got some injury history and stuff. Like 28 carries is what was needed for this game to win. But you really want to run DeAndre Swift 28 times for 16 more weeks?
No.
16 more weeks?
I don't. That was what people were saying. DeAndre Swift is not a workhorse running back.
And you said, that's what Rashad Penny was here for. But I was actually talking to Jody Mack earlier in the week. And his thing was, because I was still struggling with the Rashad Penny being that thing. And it was like, well, he's like, well, I figured that it was going to work out that way because Boston Scott's your kick returner. So he's going to play.
Yep.
You got Kenneth Gainwell, who's the guy they pretty much trust the most. And you got DeAndre Swift, who's probably, like Kenneth Gainwell, though people don't want to hear this, has the best mix of talent. DeAndre Swift got pushed in the backfield last night in the beginning, but he held up pretty well.
Yeah.
Against the blitz on third down. And
he was doing he looked a little bit out of his element doing pass pro, but he wasn't bad. He wasn't whiffing on people.
Right.
He was getting a little chip in, so it was good. But yeah, I mean, ideally, ideally, we don't want DeAndre Swift to run the ball 28 times, but that is what worked. And as far as the offensive line goes, I saw something like it was 133. DeAndre Swift got either 133 or 135 yards before contact.
I saw that too.
Man.
So it kind of makes you wonder, was it actually DeAndre for real? But it's like, I'm going to give him a pass too, because I also saw some instances where guys grabbed him and he carried him for 5 yards too. I don't know if I want to see that all season either, but.
Well, I mean, that's what we said going into the season. Imagine what DeAndre, like when we picked him up, when we traded for him, we're like, imagine what he's going to do behind this offensive line. And we saw it already, and it's sick. It is awesome. You cannot be mad about that. But again, like we haven't seen a whole lot. I mean, I guess Kenny Gainwell, I almost want to throw an asterisk on the running game in week 1. Because that's, again, Bill Belichick having an incredible amount of time to game plan for it. He's the best at game planning. So I almost want to put an asterisk on the running game in that one. We saw what this offensive line can do for any running back, and it's something to be excited about. I think that kind of covers running backs, offensive line, pass catchers. Devontae Smith.
Wow. I think he averaged 32.8 yards per reception.
I don't.
32.8 yards per reception is pretty damn good.
Like that first ball was underthrown, and he just. I mean, I don't know.
That was a bad ball. He made it work.
He's like in Doctor Strange. That guy's got those boots on where he can like make little platforms that he's standing on. That's what Devontae Smith had. He was in the air for like 5 seconds. That was incredible. Man.
Okay, so now this is X. Are they still tweets or are they X's now? What do we call those things? Posts? I know they call it repost instead of retweet now. So.
I'm gonna call them Zeets. Zeeting so hard.
He zeeted right after that. They actually had to put this on Facebook and everything. Like Devontae Smith literally could slap my mother, and I would assume she was wrong.
Oh yeah. What did I think Michael Kiss tweeted that in at the end of last year. That's good. And I would shake his hand.
I got the numbers here. Devontae 4 receptions, 131. AJ Brown 4 catches for 29 yards. Dallas 6 for 22. DeAndre 3 for 6 yards. 2 yards per catch. Interesting. And Rashad Penny 1 catch for 5 yards. Where is Olamide Zaccheaus?
He was out there. Quez had a hammy. I remember he didn't do anything, but he was. I remember seeing him out there with Devontae and with AJ. I do remember seeing him specifically because Quez was getting some. I don't know if it was his hammy or his calf, but he was getting the Theragun.
Shout out Cal Brown. It's a very angry fan base, man. I actually put something on just trying to be humorous during the tough time, and AJ Brown took a trip to the medical tent and everything, but he didn't look hurt. So I was like, this is probably a bathroom break. You got dudes all on Facebook and everything. I'm not going to call you out by name. Relax, man. You take everything so serious. Like, I take everything so serious. Okay, my bad.
He's just got to pee. That's all. That's all he had to do.
Brown?
But yeah, man, I think that pretty much sums it up. There was a minute there that they went to the run in the first half and it was really working, and then they went away from it and it wasn't working. And I imagine Nick Sirianni slapped Brian Johnson in the face and said, "Do the thing that works. That's what's going to win this game."
Ryan Bollinger, do we add another receiver from practice squad since the Quez injury?
I don't necessarily. I mean, there's a long time before that next game. I think things iron themselves out. We got ourselves a mini bye week here.
Can we target Olamide Zaccheaus? Like, he can actually play a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he was wide receiver 2 for the Falcons last year, getting thrown to by Marcus Mariota, and we know how bad that is. He's got skill.
Your wide receivers on the practice squad are Greg Ward, Joseph Ngata, Britton Covey, and Devin Allen.
If Britton Covey stays active, I don't know how much longer that'll be. That was a bad fumble.
That was a bad fumble, and everybody get away from the ball, let it roll inside his 8 was pretty bad too.
Yeah.
We were always taught, put your feet on the 10-yard line. Do not let the ball go over your head. Fair catch it if you got to. but do not let this ball get past you on this 10-yard line.
I'm sure in the special teams meeting this week, they showed Sidney Brown absolutely lighting that guy up on the Patriots last week, and that was in Britton Covey's head. He said, "I don't want to do that," and then just let the ball go by him. But yeah, Greg Ward getting the call. I'm a Greg Ward guy. All he does is catch touchdowns. I mean, that's it.
Trust Greg Ward. This is what I feel like, man. Like Howie Roseman and these guys is just like, they know you can win by running the ball. They don't want to win that way.
Yeah.
They want to throw the ball. I don't think the coaches care. The coaches are like, let's just win this damn game. Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie to some extent, who we love to death, but is potentially one of the most meddling owners in football. And he's got a right to be. I would be too if that was my money.
Yeah.
But they want to throw the ball.
Yeah, they went out and got AJ Brown. They drafted Devontae Smith. They want to throw the ball, but I mean, buddy, if it ain't working, tough.
Yep.
Yeah, I have thoughts on the NFL as a whole. What is it? Something about like there's been the least number of 15-yard plays since like mid 2010s or something like that in the first week of the NFL. And I believe, and I have a conspiracy theory, I believe that's largely due once again to bring it home, Jonathan Gannon. In 2021, he did that cover 2 shell. And his whole thing was that, yeah, but we're not allowing explosive plays. And then the NFL, everybody's doing that now. So I believe Jonathan Gannon actually ruined the NFL.
I think.
That's my conspiracy theory is Jonathan Gannon is once again making everybody have a bad time watching football.
I'll stat something in that relation. It was something about Devontae Smith. I don't know what the yardage number was, but it was a pretty high number of yards, and it was talking about guys who had catches over that distance. And Devontae was somewhere in there. I think it was 30 plus yards or more, but Devontae had 2 of those catches, and the rest of the NFL had 2 of those catches.
Right. Yeah. I mean, dude, he's amazing. And then I don't know. I know it's incredibly simple, but a Devontae Smith touchdown celebration is my favorite thing in the world. We got the Rockin' the Baby last week on Christmas Eve last year. He robbed the Salvation Army. That's goated. That is goated. And then just yesterday, he just
ticked a lot of people off, but I had no problem with it. It's like, y'all try to have a sense of humor.
Oh, I loved it. Put on a mask, rob the Salvation Army. No, I'm all in on that. Be a villain, baby. Be a villain. I love
Something about blowing kisses to the Eagles fan base at Lincoln Financial Field kind of wins you a spot in their hearts forever. Like
he's just like
did that a couple times.
He's just like, that was a performance. I just gave it. I just gave you guys what you wanted, and just blow them kisses. Somebody throw roses at him next time. That was what a beautiful route. I mean, they showed the replay of that, and he burned the guy 2 yards off the ball. He was wide open, and then it just went.
Once he cut, it didn't even look like he was running full speed.
63 yards. Get out of town, Devontae. You are my guy. I love him. And especially good for him on a contract year. Do you have anything else about the offense?
Nah, I thought about Lamine Zaccheaus.
Yeah, see what he can
Spread
do.
the ball around. Let's be creative. Like, do some of the stuff we saw last year.
Let's split the difference before we get into defense. Let's talk special teams. My bold prediction before the season was that Jake Elliott was going to be stay perfect the longest. Nope, that didn't happen. Was that a 55-yarder that he missed yesterday? Something like it was 50 plus.
The one he missed, I think, was pretty easy. I think let me pull it up for you, but Jake is pretty automatic once you get him past 50. Like, he doesn't miss the 50. He'll miss the 25-yarder. That seems routine, but he's not missing from like 50 or beyond that.
But then
that's 1 yard at the end of the half. I think we got that here. Check this out. Where is it?
How can you blame him? 61-yarder is on its way, and it is good. He did it.
I got goosebumps.
I did too. Like 61 yards actually ties his record.
Yeah.
His field goal. And
that was 2017 against the Giants.
Yep. Ties his record.
Beautiful. I think ESP put it on Twitter. The Eagles have Never lost a Super Bowl in a year that Jake Elliott kicks a 61-yard field goal. So, hey, writing's on the walls, baby.
Right.
That was, and then and then before they cut to break, after they did like a replay of himself, he was just grinning at Jordan Mailata. Oh, love Jake Elliott. Maybe that earns him special teams player of the week again, because that was a mondo kick.
It was a nice time. Madden is Jalen Hurts is an X Factor player on Madden?
I would assume so.
I'm
not a Madden guy.
I love the game. I didn't realize he was an X Factor guy. I thought that was interesting. Nick, shout out to Nick. Comments again.
Actually, before we leave offense, DeAndre Swift, potential NFC player of the week. Just keep that in your mind. Keep that in your mind when you're watching these games this week.
You know, though, man, I was also thinking too, like like you mentioned special teams and things of that nature. Like Jake's kick, that 61-yarder in half gave him some juice, gave him some momentum and stuff.
The exact thing we were missing last week.
I'm actually spoiled the secret here. Like, so tomorrow morning I got a story dropping. The special teams play we'll never talk about again, but it was huge. How about the long return by that guy from Minnesota? I forget his name for the time being. And then the ball is stripped by Justin Evans and recovered from Nicholas Morrow and stuff. They were set up to score right there.
Yeah, they were.
That could have caused a problem. That could have been 7 points. That could have been 7 points there. And we haven't talked about that since that game ended. No, I don't hear anybody talking about that. And we won't talk about it 2 weeks from now.
Right.
But it's plays like that win you games and stuff. We're always talking about why teams lose the game. Plays like that help you win games and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Fast forward to the end of the half where and I've been picking on him. My bad. He shut me up. Terrell Edmonds. Terrell Owens got us saying Terrell all the time. Terrell Edmonds with the strip of Justin Jefferson and the touchback. And immediately before the refs even started, I'm like, that's a touchback.
That was beautiful.
And that's a 10-point swing because then the Eagles drive down with 34 seconds left. They're aggressive. So they drive down, and that sets up the 61-yarder by Jake Elliott. And a team that's struggling now goes into the locker room with some juice and stuff. So
yeah, and it's the exact thing that we flamed them for last week. Somebody's listening over there in that in that coaching room, where last week when they just ran some stupid little play when there's 28 seconds left and they had 2 timeouts before the half, and then this week they're like, you know what, let's get it, and they go borderline field goal range, and buddy,
the game plays like that win you games, and that strip. I think the Vikings were set up inside the 35-yard line.
Oh, yeah.
That's not a fumble. That's probably 3 points, or worst case scenario, 7 points and stuff. Terrell Edmonds strip at the end of the half saves a touchdown, which were going to score. They were going to score 6 on that drive.
So good.
And so that saves you potentially 10 points there. Now the Eagles didn't score after that fumble on the special teams play.
Correct.
I think that was right after that. I think Jalen threw the interception right after that. I could be wrong.
That sounds right.
But they didn't capitalize on it. Actually, 2 turnovers, like also the one that Jake missed a field goal. So there were 2 opportunities to capitalize off the first 2 turnovers, and they didn't get any points. But I think I was more impressed by the fact that we stopped points from happening.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that you can see it, that Justin Jefferson fumble into a touchback, the worst rule in football, while also being the best rule in football. I mean, that was the game. That was the game.
It's fun when it works in your favor.
Oh my God! And if it doesn't, buddy, you're just absolutely just punching air. It is.
If it costs you a touchdown, it is the worst play in sports. If it works for you, it's great.
You're talking about that kick return. I don't think maybe it's out now, but when that all 22 comes out, I'm very curious to see what that punt looked like, because like in the Super Bowl when Aaron Siposs shanked that punt that Kadarius Toney returned down to like the 5 or 10, whatever, that I've tried to shut it out of my brain. He shanked that punt. Like the coverage was going one way. He put the punt on the other side of the field. Kadarius Toney's able. I'm wondering if it was the same kind of a situation, because I don't know how that guy could have gotten that far.
Live, I was kind of thinking, and it's funny you mentioned that, because live, I was kind of thinking it was like, because now every time he punts, now I'm thinking about hang time. So live, I'm sitting there and I'm like, that's the thought that went through my head. Like, that probably needed to stay in the air a little longer.
I'm just going to give you
a tackle, and then it's like guys are coming out of their lanes, and it's like, I immediately went to the Super Bowl. Not the same type of stage and not the same.
I'm just
thing, obviously, but
just a tip for your mental health. Don't count anything with his punts. Don't think about him. We have Aaron Siposs, and he's going to be here for the entire season pending an injury. And it is just going to lead to frustration, sadness. And if you don't think about it, your quality of life is going to be much better because nothing's changing with him. But yeah, let's get into it. We talked a little bit of defense, a little bit of turnovers and stuff like that. Let's kind of get into that. This defensive line was an absolute monster last night. That was Jordan Davis, buddy. We thought he was going to take a step forward. We didn't think he was going to turn into a pass rushing machine. Good God. And now there was one
picks, like knowing that you don't have to take him off the field on third down. That's a weight off our shoulders, man. That's amazing. Like, I think he's the highest graded defensive lineman on Pro Football Focus this week, if I'm not mistaken.
Is he?
I think he's I think I saw that. I could be wrong, but I think I saw that. So yeah.
Good God, that whatever that play was, it was in the first half. I can't remember when it was. I think it might have been the second quarter. When he just like took the guy across from him and just shoved him into the backfield, and it knocked over the tight end that was crossing, and that guy knocked over Kirk Cousins. He's a mammoth. And then after the play, it shows him getting up, and you're just in awe of the size of him. His legs are bigger than my entire body, and how he's able to move with such, I don't know if I call it grace, but power and precision is phenomenal to see that he's being effective the way that he's being.
And I think he can run and do grace if he wanted to. Like, the guy can dunk, like, runs a sub 5 second 40-yard dash. I can't even do that. I'm not 340.
No, I can't even think
Jordan
about
Davis, like, and I was more impressed with Jordan Davis last year than most people. Sometimes with these interior defensive linemen, especially in these Eagles offenses and defenses, and what you see kind of like from the Nick Fangio thing.
Yep.
Those guys are asked to do a lot of stuff, and you appreciate what they do if you actually look at the film later, but it's not necessarily going to translate into a lot of statistical outstanding performances, I guess, and stuff. Yeah. That was Jordan Davis last year, but now Jordan Davis is getting the stats and the splash plays and stuff. And Milton Williams has kind of become the guy that's doing that dirty work and stuff that helps everybody else shine. But Milton Williams is playing the hell of a season.
He's doing very good. Then there was a play specifically that stood out to me. Jalen Carter got a stop on a little. They were trying to run something on the outside with Alexander Madison, who got shut down by this defensive line. Alexander Madison cannot play a productive game if he's not running up the middle. That's why they had C.J. Ham in there. Their freaking fullback was playing ahead of Alexander Madison because he had more power like that. But they hand the ball off to, or pitch it to Alexander Madison. He's running around the outside, but Jalen Carter gets off the ball and runs through. What was the guy's name? I have it here. Schlottman, I guess, is their left guard, or I can't remember what the hell he was. But Jalen Carter runs through his face. The first contact Jalen Carter made with the guy across from him was with his face to the other guy's face, knocks him out of the way, and gets in the backfield. This defensive line is going to be an absolute menace. My question for you, though, Josh Sweat, how many edge rushers in the NFL can you name that are definitely better than Josh Sweat?
Not many.
It is time to have the conversation about Josh Sweat being an elite pass rusher in the NFL.
It is. He's got the one Pro Bowl. I think he probably could have made it last year. Didn't he have double-digit sacks last year?
Yep, he was on that streak. He was on that streak when he got injured with the when he got injured last year, where it was like, I can't remember how many games in a row he logged a sack, but like the conversation needs to happen about Josh Sweat being one of the best in the world at his job.
Had a game-altering sack and everything.
That strip sack he had on Kirk, that Fletch picks it up.
Yeah. Had a game-altering sack there. That one helped set up a touchdown. That's a turnover we did score points off of.
Yep. Hard not to. Five
quarterback hits in addition to the sack.
God.
Like, it's like every play, like, give him like another split second, he's there.
Oh,
like,
my God.
Yeah, it's like, I remember thinking at least 3 times that's like he almost had that one.
there's gonna be some games that he himself is the game wrecker, surrounded by other game wreckers.
Mhm.
If you get a quarterback who doesn't have an elite pass catcher like Justin Jefferson, or a tight end who gets open like TJ Hawkinson, you're going to see Josh Sweat absolutely ruin some people's days. And I cannot wait for that. That play that the dude, it was near the end of the game where the dude got injured, unfortunately got taken off on a cart, where Josh Sweat one hands throws him. The guy was like left the ground. You're a professional too, buddy. Stay on the ground.
Jalen Carter's out there sending some people too. Is like, one dude should not be that dominant. Like, y'all gonna get mad at me for this. I'm starting to get Aaron Donald vibes. We got our Aaron Donald. Remember for a long time, like Fletcher, he's probably not viewed that way now. Fletcher Cox was the second best defensive tackle, and they kept saying he was the second best because Aaron Donald was walking around. But Jalen Carter might be our Aaron Donald.
He's not going to be training with knives or anything like that, but he's going to be him and Jordan Davis for the long haul, man. This defensive line is going to be set and anchored for a very long time, and I could not be more ecstatic about that.
I'm sick and tired of the whole. This is my rant though. Like, how many more times we had to tell the story of the mistake he made? We got it. We saw it.
What the hell, Al Michaels? Why don't you chill out for a minute?
It was a female's voice. I can't remember who it was. Like,
oh, was it the sideline gal?
Yeah, it was a sideline.
Yeah.
And like, we've heard that story over and over again. Like, he made a mistake, and it's unfortunate, and we don't want to see anybody lose their lives before their time. But we don't have to keep beating that.
I'm thinking that'll be the I don't know, because it was a primetime game, and it was the Eagles' first primetime game, and it was Jalen Carter's first primetime game. I could see it maybe happening with one Sunday night game and maybe a Monday night game.
Yeah, man, it's just like every time we're on a different platform, we got to tell the story again. It's like, okay, we heard it all off season.
Yeah,
we heard it in preseason games, and then Prime didn't have an Eagles game yet, so now they got to tell the story. ESPN will get their game on Monday night. Now they got to tell the story.
But for a new audience and people who might not have been paying attention, they're like, how the hell did this guy slip to 9? How did a Super Bowl team get this dominant of a man?
Probably the best player in the draft.
Yeah, and they're just trying to fill time too. I don't know. It's very dumb. I agree. It's very dumb that they keep doing it. Like, you could say something else, but
So I got a question for you. Like, grade Sean Desai for me.
Sean Desai gets. I'm going to give Sean Desai a B+. Okay. A lot of those catches. Okay, number one, he is somehow making a functioning defense out of connects. Like, the guy, the fact that there were 3 and outs in that game.
That's my point. Yep.
Was pretty impressive. Now, a lot of the times the 3 and outs happened because that defensive line was able to get stops and put them behind, put the Vikings behind schedule. But I mean, yeah, you're going with freaking Mario Goodrich. Nicholas Morrow is your green dot, and you beat Justin Jefferson. I think I have to give him a B+.
I did see this. Like I said, I hadn't rewatched the game yet, but Nicholas Morrow had a nice play in coverage against Justin Jefferson.
I believe.
I know Nicholas Morrow had a nice little play in coverage against Justin Jefferson. He was stride for him for a second and wasn't losing any ground.
I know Cunningham had a much better day. I don't remember. Maybe Nicholas Morrow did.
Check that out. I'm pretty sure that was 40. It's 40, whatever his number is. I was like, Nicholas Morrow had a nice play in coverage against Justin Jefferson and stuff. And I was like, wow. Did you see Rashawn Evans got released?
Did he already?
A few days after being signed.
That is not shocking to me. Every time they sign somebody that has any relation to Jalen Hurts, they're like, oh yeah, because they like when they signed Rashawn Evans, there was the video of them like after the national championship, and Jalen Hurts is in the background and like yells out his name. When in the offseason they got Charleston Rambo, they're like, oh yeah, these two played together at Oklahoma. It's like, yeah, but that doesn't mean they're good.
Yeah, Trey Sermon was waived too, since we're on the subject. So he was
Right.
waived from injured reserve.
Right. Like maybe we stop trying to say that a person that was around greatness is a guy that's going to stick around a lot. I understand wanting to believe, but let's cool the jets on that.
So Trey Sermon was he's released from the injured reserve, so that wasn't occupying a roster spot. But Rashawn Evans being released from the practice squad, that opens up another spot on the practice squad, so they can go out and get somebody if they want.
And if I haven't looked in the last hour or two, but if Avonte Maddox, who is just a huge loss, if he's out, that's going to be another roster spot that's open.
He's out. There's a pec injury.
But has that been confirmed that he's been put on the IR?
They haven't officially announced it yet, but those pec injuries.
Oh yeah.
Depending on the injury, those in seasons. Like what was that knocked out Brandon Brooks 1 year, right?
I believe so. I believe it's also knocked out J.J. Watt, or maybe J.J. Watt tried to play with it.
Yeah. Then you had the triceps injury with either a triceps or a bicep injury with Andre Dillard. But I believe a pec injury knocked, and that's a freak of nature, Brandon Brooks.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean,
kind of what you got to realize is Andre fragile. Can he play this game? Like, I think next year is his final year of the 3-year extension he signed.
Yeah.
And now it's like, man, do you need that $7 million? He represents $7 million against the cap next season. 7.5, maybe 7.5.
What rank 1 through 3 your best best replacements for Avonte Maddox? Okay, number 1 being Mario Goodrich. Number 2 being James Bradbury. Number 3 being Justin Evans.
I still don't feel like Justin Evans can cover sometimes. I'd say James Bradbury because, I mean, they were working him out in the offseason in the slot and stuff, and they don't do anything for no reason. Like, just in case we need it. And James has done it in the past.
Yeah.
I'd rather have my all-pro guy be on the outside and stuff, but if we're just talking about just ability, like James in the slot, maybe put somebody else on the outside and stuff too. Like, that was my thing. Like you mentioned, like what Sean Desai is doing with what he's been given and stuff. He doesn't have his starting safety. Sidney Brown hasn't played a lot.
He had 6 of 11 guys on the defense were.
Kobe Dean is gone. James Bradbury has a concussion. Avonte Maddox goes down. And I know we get real ticked off when guys give up plays and we want everything to be perfect. Like the one thing I like that Al Michael said is like, we want these guys to win and we want them to win and pretty. That like Eagles fans got to understand, like they got NFL players on other teams too.
And it just so happens the Vikings have the best NFL player at his position in the world as a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Like some of those catches he was making, he had no business. Darius Slay played a hell of a game. There was never a chance that Darius Slay was going to be able to stop Justin Jefferson like he did last year. I mean, that was the game of Darius Slay's life that he played.
He had the motivation by Justin Jefferson because he didn't want to. He didn't want to be shown up this year, and I kind of think that's some of AJ Brown's problem. We were talking about the screen match on the sideline. You had these issues sometimes, man, where it's like I've seen too many athletes do it, man. Like y'all gonna let this guy come in my house and outshine me in my house,
right?
Justin Jefferson, look what Justin Jefferson's doing, man. I need to be doing that. So they're not great. There's no great player that doesn't want the ball.
Yeah, I want my great player to do that. I think that's what we said. You don't want your $100 million wide receiver to be like, yeah, it's fine.
Right. He's supposed to want the ball, and he does want the ball. I don't have any problems with that and everything. But I got to credit some of these young guys too. Even Josh Jobe with the big touchdown, and he had a tough game, and then he gave up the touchdown later. But
yeah,
we tend to believe sometimes like Jalen Hurts needs his reps in his position. You got to give it some time. You got to be patient. He's got to learn how to play this, but we don't seem to want to believe that offensive tackles and we don't seem to believe that cornerbacks should come into the league and have to have reps too and have to get some live bullets and make some mistakes too. We seem to feel like they're supposed to come in perfect.
the Vikings made the perfect decision. As the play after Avonte Maddox goes out, Mario Goodrich comes in. They immediately get him covering Justin Jefferson and takes it up to the whatever that was. Like
same thing we did. That first bomb to Devontae, the one that was overthrown, he just made a great catch on. They went after Jalen went after somebody that just came into the game. So that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, I mean it was perfect. Yeah, but going back to the ranking of those options, yeah, I do agree. I think Justin Evans, I think that's ranked worst. Mario Goodrich would be second. I like here's my thought with the James Bradbury thing. You put what the Eagles should have done in the Super Bowl is have James Bradbury cover Travis Kelce because he's bigger. That would have been good coverage. I think there's an opportunity here with Avonte Maddox going down. Having James Bradbury cover that slot would give him more opportunity to be able to get coverage on these tight ends that in these two games that we've seen, you've had Hunter Henry and Mike Gesicki go off. We talked about that. You had TJ Hawkinson do pretty well last night. He got 2 touchdowns. Some of those were going to happen, but he got 2 touchdowns. He did okay. If you get James Bradbury in there playing slot, there's an opportunity there for him to be a guy that is able to have a clearer shot to covering a tight end. And then again, like we knew that Avonte Maddox was going to go down. Like we knew that was going to happen before the season started. So we've been prepared for this conversation. The Eagles have more depth at outside corner than they do nickel corner. Yeah, you want your all-pro, your Pro Bowl all-pro cornerback to play the position that he's all-pro in. But if you can have him you want him on the field, number one. If you can have him be that nickel corner and then have Josh Jobe, who, again, he was going against very, very good pass catchers, very, very good wide receivers yesterday. I think my number one, the thing that I would like to happen is have James Bradbury be nickel corner.
Yeah, I do a little Madden play calling here. Like I just take my chances with Darius Slay on whoever on the outside and James Bradbury in the slot on whoever, and maybe like shade some help over to whoever Josh Jobe is on and stuff because he's probably got the second, not the slot guy now, but the second guess.
Yeah, and then you'll have Reed Blankenship back, hopefully.
Yeah.
I heard somebody call them Ed Reed Blankenship, and I kind of like that.
I do too.
I like that. Let's see. Do we want? I mean, we're kind of running low on time here. Do we want to do anything going around? At least talk about the other NFC East games going on this weekend, or do we just want to do final thoughts and get out of here? What are you thinking?
I'm cool. We want to do. Are we picking the other NFL games, or you said the NFC East games?
Yeah, it's almost an hour, so let's just stick to. Let's do NFC East games, and then let's talk if you have another NFL game that you got your eyes on.
All right.
So we're looking at.
we get so busy sometimes I don't even know who's playing.
Okay, so we are looking at. Here, 1 second. I have it right here.
Good games: Chargers, Titans, Packers, Falcons.
As far as the NFC East goes, we have Commanders are playing at Denver. We have Jets at Cowboys, and we have Giants at Cardinals.
What I've seen from the Cowboys, I hate to say this, but I think they probably take that Jets game. The Giants have to be better than the Cardinals, right?
I mean, they have to. They can't.
They have to be better than the Cardinals.
They can't have 5 months of that. That's impossible. They can't. It cannot happen.
Who's the Cardinals quarterback now? Josh Dobbs?
Josh Dobbs or whatever.
The Giants have to win that game. Like the rails are going to come off in New York if they don't win that game. Like you have to believe that Daniel Jones is better than Josh Dobbs.
Right? He can't. He can't not be. It would be. It's out of the question. It's impossible for Josh Dobbs to be better than Daniel Jones. It's impossible.
Yeah. And then Commanders over Broncos. I'm gonna go Commanders over. But Russell Wilson just can't play.
You like Commanders over Broncos?
Russell Wilson can't play.
Jerry Jeudy's coming back.
He's not been who I thought he was going to be.
He's been kind of perpetually injured.
That's true.
I don't know.
I'm still going to go. They believe in Sam Howell, man.
They do, and I don't get it. I don't get it.
Sometimes you just got to win that locker room. That's what Jimmy Garoppolo did. Everywhere
Yeah.
you have never heard a teammate that doesn't like Jimmy Garoppolo.
He's incredibly handsome.
And they play hard for him. Like, he may not have Aaron Rodgers' ability and never will be, but they play for him, and they play for Sam Howell in Washington. That franchise is reinvigorated with the new ownership and stuff. Like, they feel like they're supposed to be an NFL team now. Yeah, they have moments where they remember they're the Commanders, but
yeah, I mean, how far can that go? Because I mean, think of the guys that have rallied that locker room in the past couple of years. It's really just been Taylor Heineke, and I mean, that nobody rallied behind Carson Wentz. Guy's an asshole. But it was Taylor Heineke, and I guess is Sam Howell Taylor Heineke light, which is saying that out loud, pretty pathetic.
I think I don't know. From the outside looking in, I would kind of assume. I'm gonna see if I can get our Commanders guy on the phone and stuff, but I'm going to assume that they just probably the same level.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the change there is nothing special.
Is Heineke still in their squad?
No, Heineke is either Tampa or Atlanta. I think Atlanta. I think Heineke is behind Desmond Ridder. Again, somehow Desmond Ridder can't throw a ball.
Ridder can't play.
I don't know.
They got skill. They got talent all over the place. They got Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson,
Tyler Algier.
That's pretty good too.
They got I don't know what the hell is going on in that. That's bananas to me. How you could just continually march out Desmond Ridder. But as far as NFC East go, yeah, I differ on the Broncos Commanders one. I think Broncos come away with that. I think the Cowboys are gonna win that. Brandon Cooks is I think nursing some kind of injury or something like that. I think he was limited at one point this week. Maybe he still is. But I do think they come away. There's no way the Cowboys defense. Zach Wilson is going to do that.
That defense is amazing.
Zach Wilson is going to do the drop back for 30 yards, and he's not going to be able to outrun Micah Parsons. There is not a chance in hell that he's going to be able to do that.
It's going to be Micah Parsons, or nobody seems to want to try this. I seem to be the only person that believes that the way to beat Micah Parsons is to run at him.
Yeah, that's a very terrifying
thought.
Don't
run around him. Don't try to run from him. Run at him and try to run over him and make him be physical.
Eagles
I think he'll fold.
And that first game last year, they just had Lane Johnson not block him and just read him the entire time, and that worked.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's crazy. And then Giants and Cardinals. But buddy, God, it's got to be the Giants. It'd be crazy not to. I feel like I just picked chalk.
The Cardinals are giving me 4-win vibes, 4-13.
Their over-under's 4.5 wins. There's no way that they can
keep
do
looking at their schedule like I can't find the 4 wins.
Yeah, they can. You can. Okay. Yeah. Well, no, I could probably find 4 wins, but then lucking into those wins. There's no way that they win. They can luck into 5 wins. That is 5 wins on a 7. Lucking into a third of your wins, or lucking into wins on a third of your schedule. Not a chance in hell. Not a chance in hell. That'd be crazy.
So the Cardinals they're hosting the Giants. Then they got Dallas at home.
That's such a
at San Francisco, Cincinnati, at LA, at Seattle, Baltimore, at Cleveland, Atlanta. I was like, that might be the win. That's week 10.
I think they'll split games with the Rams.
That might be the win. I feel like I look at like Atlanta and Houston. I feel like those are the win, but that's week 10 and 11.
My biggest fear, okay, so it came out after Aaron Rodgers got hurt on Monday. Like people were like, oh, how many more primetime games of the Jets do we have to watch? And they had 6 on their schedule. One of them is in week 12, which is it's a Thursday night football game. And that is the new NFL rules that they can flex those games now. My biggest fear is that is a week where the Cardinals are playing the Rams. And the NFL is going to force us to watch that game in prime time. And we're going to get wasted while we do it, because that is going to be hell. It's going to be so
New York,
bad.
Dallas, San Francisco, Cincinnati, LA, Seattle, Baltimore, Cleveland. Atlanta might be a win. Houston might be a win. but that's on the road.
That's
LA at Pittsburgh.
I want to say poor Jonathan Gannon, but I absolutely don't feel that, and I never will.
At San Francisco. No, San Francisco in week 15 at home. Their buys in week 14. San Francisco at home.
Such a long time.
At Chicago in week 16, maybe. And then at Philadelphia in 17, and they finish with Seattle. I can't get 4 wins. I think maybe 3. It's like weeks. I got 3 books on a possible.
A bye week in week 14 for a team that bad. That is going to be such a long stretch before they get any kind of reprieve. Oh my God. That's brutal. That is brutal. That's very funny.
And they're at Pittsburgh. Like, there's no guarantee they'll win that game. Like,
oh my God. That's fun.
I can't find 4 wins.
I just think that they're going to luck their way, just dumb luck their way into something. I don't know. They got Buda Baker and Kaiser White, and that's it.
Does it matter they don't want to be there?
You're right. They got Buda Baker, wins a trade deadline. Keep an eye out for that one. They're selling, baby. They're selling everything. All right. Think we've talked about it enough. It's over an hour. Thank you guys very much for joining us on this Inside the Iggles live. Guys, the Philadelphia Eagles are 2-0 for 2 years in a row, which I think I saw something like, when was the last time that happened?
The last time that has happened, I actually wrote about this. It was 1992 and 1993.
Baby.
I think that was the Rich Kotite era.
Oh, it feels good. It feels good to be here. There is going to be, think about it like this. Every other team in the NFL is going, besides the Buccaneers, who we play on the next Monday Night Football game, every other team in the NFL is going to have the opportunity to lose 2 football games before the Philadelphia Eagles have to play another game. We're in a very good spot right now. Record-wise. A lot of things are up in the air. Had an ugly win, but a win is a win, baby. And if you run the damn ball, you're going to be dominant like that. Thank you guys very much for joining us. Enjoy Red Zone this weekend. Hang out with Scott Hansen for 7 hours of commercial-free football and enjoy every minute of it. Stress-free. Guys, thank you very much for joining us. Have a good weekend. Go Birds.
Go Birds.